What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Home Built Workshop. Welcome to Wednesday Live. Looking forward to it. Hope everybody's doing good. How's everybody doing this fine Wednesday morning? As we're fixing to settle in here. Right on. Hey, you guys are here already. I saw in the chat earlier. Right on. Welcome. Robert's here. Robert's got the coffee. Right on. See, I tried to give a heads up. Got plenty of time. I'm not talking to Sam yet because he says he's got tons of ads. So please delay. I'm delaying. Time Surfing, what's up? Time Surfing says, good morning, everyone. Everyone's day is going well. It's going well. It is. I hope all of you are off to a great start for the day, or middle or end of the day. But either way, I hope your day is awesome. We are getting a little bit of snow again today. Hopefully it's not 3 days straight like we had 2 weeks ago. But yeah, snowing a little bit. We got, a couple inches of snow on the ground right now. Some sort of a winter weather advisory of some sort going on, but that's fine. I was out here early this morning. Got the heat turned on. We're nice and toasty in here. And, well, I shut it off now, so I'll probably get cold later, but it's fine. But yeah, just getting ready for the day. Got some work ahead of me a little bit on the sander, which we'll get to. And yeah, looking forward to hanging out with everybody. So what's going on? What's everybody working on? You got any projects? Projects in the works? Now Robert says, hanging in there. Oh, Sam's back. Okay, Sam, good morning. Good afternoon. Oh man, I gotta take this call real quick. So, back on track here. Let's see. Sam's got no adverts. Nice. Time Surfing is painting a guitar for my son. Right on. That's awesome. Robert says, broke down and bought one of the EcoFlow Solos powered backup electrical systems. I've heard good stuff about those. Just got the solar panels yesterday and the unit a couple of days before. Nice. So you got some new stuff to play with. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, how big is that EcoFlow system? Like the, what is it, the kilowatt hours or whatever, however they rate those? That's going to be neat. Nice to have a little backup power. Pretty cool. Cheers, everyone. Robert says it's the Delta 2 model. I'm not familiar. I'd have to look that up, but yeah, that's going to be cool. Very cool. All right. So let's see. What has been going on around here? Let's get up to speed. I mean, it's pretty much, if you saw the video last week, I got the table built for the sander, and it works awesome. And it seems like almost all of you agree with my thought on the laminate. So we will be putting laminate on the top of that MDF table. I ordered that, I don't know, like a day or two after, maybe it was the next day after the video went out, because it seemed like most of you agreed with me. So that's the way we're going to go. I got it ordered up. Supposed to be, originally it said it wasn't going to be here till like December 5th or something like that, but I got a message earlier this morning that said it was going to be here today. So I don't know if with the weather if it'll get delayed or not, but the laminate should be here today. I don't think it's going to make it into the video that I'm working on. I got to scoot my seat over. I don't think it'll make it into the video for this weekend. This weekend I'm working on the video for getting it wired up and getting everything working, which I've got it all done. And I think it's pretty cool. I'll show you here in a minute. We're going to have to go handheld and be all shaky video for a few minutes, but I'll show you that here shortly. And Super Chat Sam. Right on, says for coffee. Thank you, Sam. See, I switched it up. I threw you a curveball there. Did you see that? See what I did there? Right on, Sam. Thank you so much. keeping the thermos mug full. Right on. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Sam says British humor is fantastic. Robert, it's a good deal about the laminate for the sander build. Yeah, I was surprised that it was going to get here that early. That's going to be kind of fun because between you and me and nobody else that sees this, but I've never installed laminate before like that. Just the laminate sheets. Doesn't look too hard, but hopefully all goes well. Don't tell anyone. Actually, it's fine. I'll put that in the video and everything. So never done that before, but I got the laminate coming. The funny thing is I'm gonna have plenty of extra laminate. So I don't know if I'm gonna ever do anything with it because I had to order a roll. Like I guess it comes in a roll of some sort, but it's a 4x8 sheet of this thin laminate stuff. So maybe we should do a laminate top guitar. The countercaster. That might be kind of fun. I don't know. But I'm going to have plenty of extra once I put this on there because I'm only going to do the top and the outside edge. I'm not going to do the inside or the bottom. But yeah, so that'd be kind of cool. I got some glue and the roll of laminate supposed to show up today, which is kind of cool because you don't use really any special glue for that. You just use basically contact cement. Who knew? I didn't. So anyway, that'll be coming up. Probably, my thought is it's probably going to be at least one more video after this weekend. I was hoping to get this all done in three videos, but it's probably going to be at least 4 because I got the electrical wiring this weekend, and then next weekend, hopefully, it'll be installing the laminate. And maybe a few little odds and ends. I'm working on trying to come up with something for dust collection. So we'll see how that goes. I'm working on 3D printing some brackets and stuff to be able to connect dust collection, and at least that's the plan. That's the plan. Paul's here. Paul says, sorry I'm late. Was watching Day of the Triffids. I don't know what that is, but welcome, Paul. RNA Creative Woodworks. What's up? What's going on? RNA says, good morning, everyone. Good morning. How are you doing this morning? What are you working on? What's on the workbench? I always want to know what you guys are all working on. What kind of projects you got going on. Paul says you spray adhesive on both laminate and surface, allow it to set, press it on, roll it smooth, trim the edges with a trim router. I thought about spray adhesive, but I watched some kind of tutorials to kind of get an idea. And a lot of people were using just regular contact adhesive, brushing it on there. So that's what I have coming. Hopefully that works okay. I've not done either one, but I thought, spray adhesive would be a lot easier. And I do have some, so maybe, I don't know. You think spray adhesive, is there any advantage to spray other than being able to just spray it on there versus brushing on a bunch of contact cement? Let me know. That's what I have coming, but I suppose I could always return it. Robert says, did you notice my new profile icon? I did, Robert. I had to look when it came up before the stream started. Yeah, you changed it. I like it. Sam's playing with the stream on 2 devices with a slight sound delay. Trippy. I can imagine. Yep. Yeah, I have right now, just in case there's an issue, I have the stream up on the laptop here. That way, in case comments act funny like it does occasionally, I can keep following along. And yeah, actually it's paused right now. That's weird. Yeah, but I noticed the delay. Sam says Walmart prices are going to go up soon. I was reading. Yeah, who knows what's going to... I don't know. Robert says, Paul, that's an old movie, unless they made a new one lately. Oh, it's a movie. Gotcha. Okay. Paul says Day of the Triffids, a movie from the 60s. A meteor storm causes blindness. New form of plant that walks, seeks humans for food. Interesting. I've never heard of that one. Tanmei's here. Tanmei says hello. Good morning, Tanmei. How are you? What are you up to this fine Wednesday morning? Or afternoon, evening, whatever it is. How are you doing today? That's what I'm trying to say. RNA Creative Woodworks is cleaning the shop. Yeah, that's something that I'm going to have to do once I'm done with this sander. I've been trying to clean a bit in between, but right now, since yesterday, I just finished up a bunch of the electrical stuff. I got wire scraps and plugs and just random electrical bits I got to get organized and put away. So yeah, I'm going to have to do that too, as soon as this project's done. Robert says that's an old photo of myself holding a tiger cub. One of the best times ever. Oh, that's awesome. I can't quite tell, Robert, because on my screen here, it's very small, the icon. So I can't quite tell what it is, but that's so cool. A tiger cub. Wow, that's awesome. Tammy says, I'm great. Always a pleasure to see you. Right on. The pleasure is mine to get to hang out with all of you. It is the highlight of my week. And I'm not just saying that either. I love the brainstorming, the questions, and just the conversation. It's awesome. Tanmei says, kind of a random question. I have a carbon fiber pool cue shaft and got it signed by a great player. Any tips on how I can protect the signature? Interesting. That is pretty cool. Let me think about that for a second. But I want to hear from the rest of you too. What sort of suggestions would you have for protecting? It could be anything. A guitar that's signed, and I've heard that question come up quite a bit. Hey, I got this. I won this whatever guitar, or I have this guitar signed by so and so. How do I protect that? I've seen that come up quite a bit in a lot of the guitar forums, and I imagine this is really no different. I think what I would do would be to, you got to top coat it with something. The challenge, I think, is exactly what. And I gotta think about that a little bit, because I don't think there's one correct answer. A lot of it depends on what finish the pool cue is finished, what finish is on it already. Some top coats will be compatible with it, but some may not, and that's the hard part. If you know what's on it, that makes it a little easier, because then you can kind of look at different finishes that are compatible. Without knowing, however, would be a little tricky. I'm going to continue to think on that for a minute or two. Another thing that comes to mind doesn't involve spraying anything on it, but I'm wondering if you could take some clear protective, like a vinyl, clear vinyl or something like that. You know those things they put on the front of your car, those clear stickers to protect from like stones and rocks and things? I wonder if you couldn't just put a little sticker sheet over it. I don't know if that's the best. That's another option though that is coming to my brain. Besides spraying something over it. That was the first thing that comes to mind. Spraying some sort of a top coat. It's going to depend on what it's signed with. I'm going to guess probably like a Sharpie. I don't know if you could spray lacquer over Sharpie. Shellac, I'm sure you could, I think. Shellac's pretty universal. It's not as durable though, in my opinion. I don't know. I want to hear from the rest of you too. What would be a good way to seal in a signature on a pool cue or anything for that matter? I think a clear wrap might work good. I'm gonna continue thinking about that though. Sam says, "Have you got a bench saw sled? They look cool. A bench saw sled. What sort of bench saw sled, Sam? I've got lots of sleds for my table saw. Bench saw sled. I don't know. I need more information. Like for doing what? For handsaw stuff or for what? Most of the sleds that I have, though, are made for use with my table saw. I don't know if that helps you out or not. Paul says, Jeff, if you were in the movie, you could harvest one of the plants and make an acoustic guitar out of it. Well, not if it's going to eat me. It sounds like that. What was that movie? Or whatever it was, that Little Shop of Horrors or something. Is that where the plant was eating the people? Sam says, Jeff, you need a tablet to do your streams on. That's what I used to do. That's what I used to use. But I've talked about it before, but it's so outdated now that the old iPad will not update to the latest version, and therefore I can't run the latest version of YouTube. So I'm out of luck on that. Time surfing. There you go. That's the same question I was wondering. It says, what's it written with? Yes, that makes a difference. Yeah. Maybe we can get some more details. Maybe we can come up with a good solution. Paul says, Tanmay, it's a good idea to seal the signature with a clear finish, but be careful. Permanent marker will actually bleed and smear under oil-based varnish, shellac, or lacquer because of the solvents. Yes, that was one of my concerns. Instead, use water-based poly. Won't affect the marker at all. Interesting. Oh, yeah, because like a Sharpie, I think was probably most popular for, signatures and things. A Sharpie is alcohol or a solvent-based product. So, yes, solvents will affect that. That makes sense. Water-based something over it would not affect this. There's no solvent in there to affect the marker. Sam says liquid silicone before letting it dry. I don't think I'd put silicone on anything that I was going to spray a finish on. That in my experience, that'll cause it won't let it bond between layers. Tammy says, I'm just nervous because it's carbon fiber. Oh, okay. That is more helpful. I'm wondering if it's carbon fiber, there might not be any finish on it. I'm not an expert in carbon fiber pool cues or carbon fiber anything really, but I almost think there might not be anything on there. I could be wrong. I don't know if carbon fiber gets some sort of a sealer of some sort. I'm almost thinking that you might just wrap it with some clear vinyl or whatever it would be. I don't know. Carbon fiber. How do we seal in the signature on carbon fiber? So I'm going to guess that it's black carbon fiber with silver Sharpie signed on it, is my guess. I am almost thinking wrap it, but I don't know. I'm not sure. So Tanmay, that is very helpful. It's carbon fiber. So Corey's here. Corey says use a 2-part epoxy to protect any type of signature on any type of materials. Not a bad option either. Put a little 2-part epoxy over it, some sort of epoxy. Jim says, Colonel Sander. What's going on, my friend? Tanmay says, my friend suggested put in thin layer of super glue. That I don't think that's a bad idea necessarily. It could get messy. If you've ever used thin CA glue, it tends to want to run everywhere. But that might do the trick. Is the carbon fiber, is it sealed with something? Like, is it totally smooth? I'm trying to think of carbon fiber that I've seen before, and it has that texture on it, kind of a textury thing. Actually, the more I think about it, carbon fiber does get something put over the top of it, doesn't it? Otherwise, it'd be all like scratchy or something. Well, anyway, where I was going with this, you're making me think, and I like that. Um, where I was thinking was the super glue. When you put the super glue over it, if it's not already sealed, it's gonna become glossy right there where the super glue is. But the more I think about this, it's got to have something over that carbon fiber. So the gloss probably wouldn't be a big deal. And I don't know if that would affect the signature using super glue. I don't know if there's enough solvents in there or not. I wish I had something to try. I like this. See? I love these. That's why I like this whole platform here. We just get to talk about stuff that I wouldn't normally think about. And I really do enjoy that. We get to brainstorm things, and it's cool. Time surfing Colonel Sander. I like that. I kind of liking that name for the Sander. Sam says a bench saw sled for cutting on the saw at multiple angles with added support. Are you talking like a miter box for a handsaw kind of thing? I do have something similar, Sam, for the table saw that runs in the tracks and lets me cut angles and things. And yes, sleds for any use are super handy. Robert says, I've had my picture taken 2 times with a tiger. The cub, second one, was full-grown tiger that I really did not realize how big it was till I looked at the photo. Tip to ear tip was width or shoulders. Wow. Yeah, I can't say I've never hung out with a tiger. It'd be pretty cool though. Corey says, you want to use Rob, what? Building 2-part epoxy. So you gotta let the epoxy, let it roll for 24 hours and it'll turn hard like a rock. I think I know what you mean, Corey. Tanmay says, I really like the video quality of this stream. Well, Tanmay, thank you. That makes me happy because I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm literally streaming this on my phone through my internet, which is sometimes up and sometimes down. So I'm glad it's coming through good. Poor Conservative, what's up, brother? Poor Conservative says, you guys have a great Thanksgiving, Jeff. Well, thank you. And happy Thanksgiving to you and everybody. Well, at least here in the U.S., tomorrow is Thanksgiving. So yeah, I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. I hope you get to, spend some time with friends, family, enjoy some good food, time in the shop, whatever that is for you. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it's a good one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And Mr. Tony Webb is here. Tony says, morning, sunshine. Tony, good morning. How are you doing this morning? We're getting a little bit of snow here right now, but other than that, it's a good day. It's a good day. We got some warm coffee here. I say warm because I've been sipping on this for a little while. It's not blazing hot like a lot of times. Still plenty warm though. Robert says clear water-based poly should be safe even over carbon fiber. I agree. I agree that water-based might be a good option. I think it would work good. Tanmay says it's totally smooth. Yeah, so it's gotta have something over it. And due to the fact that I've not ever personally worked with actual carbon fiber, I can't say how that really gets finished. Sam says, how about nail varnish? I thought about that too. Then I'm thinking solvents. So I don't know. I don't know if there's a solvent in there. I have used clear nail polish for different things. A long time ago, Jimmer, we used to ride our bikes a lot. When I would wreck it, because that would happen. We'd crash, fall off, and I'd get like a scrape or a scratch on it. I would just take clear nail polish and put over it where the paint was gone, just to kind of protect it. Jim says, most signature experts I've run into will tell you to leave it alone for value. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard that before. But I also get that, you want to protect it and save it from getting worn off, especially if it's a pool cue you use. You're going to be handling it, and you want to kind of protect it. It might be better. I don't know. I keep going back to just a clear plastic wrap. The stuff they put on the cars to protect from rock chips. I don't know. I've seen people have signed like guitars, acoustic guitars or whatever, and they'll just put a clear pick guard over it, clear pick guard material right over top of it to sort of protect it. I don't know. I think there's a few different ways. You could always, the water-based poly, I think would work well. I'm a little up in the air on super glue. You could do a test, right? Tanmay, take a permanent marker, one that was used to sign your pool cue, write it on something. Just write something, and go about covering it with some super glue, and see if what it does. You could do tests. If you know that it's written with a silver Sharpie, get you a silver Sharpie, just write on something, and test it. This is actually probably a pretty good way to go, and you can experiment with with how it reacts to the Sharpie. Corey says you want to use two-part epoxy, what they use for rod building. You have to let it roll for 24 hours, let it cure for 24 hours before you handle it. Gotcha. Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Yeah, I mean that would work. I think there's a few different ways. Jimmer says, isn't carbon fiber made like fiberglass using resin? I almost think so. I've never done it, but I think you're right. I think there's some sort of a resin or an epoxy or something that goes over the carbon fiber, so it's going to be smooth and sealed, and yeah. Time Surfing says clear heat shrink, if there's such a thing. Yeah, there might be. I don't know. Time Surfing also says carbon fiber finish is usually the first layer in the mold. Gotcha. Sam says the guy I saw using the sled was using a router 2 in the same area, so it might be a general purpose sled he was using. Yeah, interesting. Tanmay says, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. It's really getting colder here in New York State. Yes. I don't know what part of the state you're in, but I know near where my family lives, they're in Pennsylvania, but mighty close to the New York line. I know they in some areas anyway, got some snow. Was it last weekend? I think Friday night, something like that. So yeah, maybe it's coming. It's moving in. Yep. But enjoy it. Enjoy it. A lot of people really can't stand it, and I get it. And I don't know, it's not always my favorite, but I do enjoy when we're getting snow. There's just something about it. But yep, winter's coming. Paul says next week they will have to roll Jeff in a wheelbarrow. Thanks to Thanksgiving. I am definitely not planning to be hungry. Sam says, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving in the UK. I know. I know. Funny how that works. Yeah, I'm pretty positive that this is just a U.S. Holiday for certain reasons. Paul says, Thanksgiving prayer. I would wish to thank evolution for slowly turning a species of dinosaur into a walking ball of meat with a tiny head. Yes, gotta love that meat. Sam says you can get solvent-free nail varnish. Interesting. That I didn't know. Corey did a fishing rod from the blank on up. That's why I know what to use to glue on the grips and all. The other component, and as well as the other components to a fishing rod. That's pretty cool. Making a fishing rod, Corey, that'd be fun. I think when I was very small, I made one out of a stick and tied a string to the end. Does that count? Paul says, I've always used water-based poly. It works with ballpoint and marker ink. Super glue might cause the ink to run on the marker. Yeah, that's what I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure because I have personally I've never tried to seal in a signature. I've seen different threads, people asking questions and stuff, but I have personally not ever done it. That's why I'm asking for your help so we can get some more ideas. Time Surfing says tape around it to prevent drips. Yeah, that's not a bad idea either. Robert says, I recently bought some woodworking tools, saw a video of a guy using the pocket hole jig, but used an aircraft drill bit instead of screws. He used dowel rods. Interesting. Jimmer says, snow last week in the hills. Yes, that's exactly what I heard. And I don't remember this, Jim. Maybe you do. But I was even talking to my brother like about this. Usually when it snows there, it snows like everywhere. But talking with my mom, they got like 8 inches. And just down off the hill, there was nothing. And I don't remember it being that localized normally. I just thought it was very strange, but because it was quite a difference. It's not like, oh, there was a dusting up there. That I've seen, but 8 inches down off the hill, nothing? That's just crazy. You probably had some up on the hill. Jim, no Thanksgiving, sinners. Sam says, why would the UK celebrate Thanksgiving for freedom against us? He's just kidding. We're just kidding, Sam. I know. I know. Yeah, that's what I say. It's a U.S. holiday. It's all good. Time Surfing. Patch of bamboo grows next to the fishing hole here. Oh, bamboo. No need to buy a rod in Alabama. Don't need a license if not using a reel. Interesting. Really? I didn't know that. If there's no reel, you don't need a rod, so you can just go. So see, with the one I made when I was 8 years old, I could be using. Sam says we might get snow here. I hope you do, Sam. I think everybody needs a little bit of snow. Tanmay says, how do you feel about building guitars? Is it a really difficult job? Tanmay, that is a great question. First off, I really, really enjoy building a guitar. It doesn't matter if it's, an electric solid body, a solid body bass, an acoustic guitar. Being able, starting off with chunks of wood and ending with something you can play, it is amazing and it's super satisfying. Maybe even a little bit more so on an acoustic, just because there's so much work that goes into it. It is so much. I've only done 2 acoustics, so I don't consider myself a seasoned acoustic builder, but I have built quite a lot of electric solid body guitars, and it is awesome. It's been a little bit since I've built one, and as soon as I wrap up a project or 2 that are in the works right now, I plan on building something else, getting something else going. The process of building a guitar is super cool. Is it really a difficult job? That's a little tougher to answer. I would say after building several, quite a few electric guitars, it's not super difficult, but that's because I've built several. I've built quite a few, actually. The first couple, yeah, there's challenges, right? It's like anything. The more you do it, the easier it gets. But there's always challenges. There's always challenges to that process. So I can't say no, it's not difficult. I think anybody could do it if you really wanted to. There's just a lot of stuff you have to learn. I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. And like I said, it's like anything else. Once you learn how to do the things, it's not terrible. But acoustic is absolutely a lot more work than building a solid body bass guitar, whatever it is. Just because the steps that are the steps that need to go into it. There's so many of them. But I think that anybody can do it. It just takes time, and you have to kind of learn the steps as you go. And you sort of have to be prepared to, make some mistakes and potentially, maybe ruin a piece. That really sucks. But I mean, it kind of comes along with the territory, I think. I mean, if that's something you've been wanting to do, I would highly encourage you to give it a try. Spend some time, learn this, some of the steps, some of the things you need to do. Depending on what you want to build, maybe take a course. I did go through a course for building acoustic guitars. I went through Eric Schaefer's guitar building course, and it was extremely helpful. I did not take a course for building electric guitars, but I watched a lot of tutorials, I read some books, and there's ways to learn all that stuff. So I think that's a great question. And like I said, if you want to do it, I would encourage you for sure to don't be afraid to give it a try. But it is awesome. It is super satisfying, even if it's your first one. I remember when I put my first one together and I actually got to play it, it was so cool to think that, I built this. It's totally rewarding and worth it, especially if you're a guitar player. Of course, I don't know really why you'd build one if you weren't, but I don't know. Maybe I guess I know a couple people that don't really play and enjoy building. So yeah. So I guess to answer that, is it a difficult job? My answer would be no, but ... You got to learn some stuff ahead of time, and there are some tools that you're going to want to have. Jim says, kidding, of course, yeah. Jimmer says, up on the hill, 4 to 5, nothing in town. I know, that's what's weird. Tenmei says, I think it's such a satisfying job. Acoustic with maple is my favorite sound. So resonant. Yes. Maple. The last one I did with the ambrosia maple. Thank you, Paul. That one is, I did ambrosia maple and Port Orford cedar top. Sounded so good. Paul says, I'm glad I finally got the last 2 guitars finished for James Burton. I get to meet him on Friday and give him his guitars. TV show featuring them is upcoming. That's awesome. Right on. That's so cool, Paul. You got to let us know if there's any, or like record it or something and put it on YouTube. I don't know if you can, but let us know if there's anywhere we can watch it. I would love to watch that. Sam, when Jeff plays the guitar, he puts on a fuzzy wig and calls himself Jeffy Hendrix. No, I put on like a Kurt Cobain wig. I actually have one. I use it for Halloween once in a while. Paul says, I need to send you the files for a 3D printed acoustic guitar for when you get really bored. I've been thinking about that, doing a 3D printed one. I've got some different files, but I think I would probably take one of my electrics anyway, and redraw it, which I need to do anyway because I need to get both my solid body guitars converted over to digital so that I can cut them on the CNC, and then from there, once I have the model, I could slice it up to 3D print. That'd be kind of fun. Time Surfing says, I plan on building an acoustic from maple or maybe spruce soundboard. My wife's 200-year-old piano. Unfortunately, not serviceable. Oh, that's too bad. That's an old one right there, 200-year-old. But yes, don't let that material go to waste. Yes, how cool would that be? Take an old piano that is, it's broken, beyond repair. It's played music for 200 years. And then it could live on to still play music for another however long. That would be cool. Robert says, one thing a first-time guitar builder can do is build a good quality kit and watch some videos of others building them for the parts that don't have to be done in the kits. Yeah, that's a good option too. Get a kit. And yeah, I've not tried that. I've never done a kit. But yes, I think that's a great option. It takes some of the some of the stress out of some of the steps. Does that make any sense? Donna's here. Hey, coffee up, Donna says. Cheers, Donna, and good morning. How are you doing this fine Wednesday? Good stuff right there. Paul says, I build and don't play, just like the process and the extra money I spend, because there's no such thing as a rich luthier is nice also. Yeah. You don't play at all, Paul? Do you play anything? I mean, you got to like strum some chords, or do you just absolutely don't play? Tenmay says, thanks for reminding me. Got to fuel my caffeine addiction too. Yeah, you got to keep that coffee flowing, especially in the, in the cold, the New York regions. Paul says, I have a box in my shop that has ivory from several old piano keys. I use it for inlays, dot markers, etc. That would be cool. Look who's here. The real Mike Johnson's here. Mike says, hey, hi all. Just wanted to say I'm here, but sleeping in today. Mike, enjoy your sleeping in day. Glad you stopped in. Paul says, I play pan flute, harmonica, and hammer dulcimer. Dulcimer. That's pretty cool. I like the sound of the dulcimer. That's pretty neat. Harmonica, I have a couple, and I've tried that before. Try to get into it, playing a few little things. Not a harmonica player whatsoever, but I thought it was pretty cool when I learned how to do bends. That was pretty neat. Jimmer says 200-year-old wood is better and provides different acoustic sound. Yeah, 200-year-old stuff, like it just makes it cooler, especially something that came from, a family heirloom, a family piano, something that's, like I said, played music for a long time. That's just so cool. But I want to show you before I forget. I know we've been chatting about other stuff. I want to show you where we're at on the sander. So if you want to see where we're at on the sander, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll go handheld here for a few minutes, and I'll show you where we're at, because we have switches and buttons and stuff. So thumbs up. Yes. See what I did there? Tanmay says, been a passionate enjoyer of playing guitar since 15 years. Such a fun and rewarding skill. Yes. That's probably about when I started. 14, 15. Yeah, definitely worth it. Mike says, is the belt sliding down? It's not. It is not. I'll show you. Let's just jump in. We got some thumbs up there. We're gonna go handheld. Might be a little shaky. And apologies there, but I want to show you where we're at, because a couple things I got done over the last couple days, I'm pretty happy with. So here we go. You ready? Hang on. Buckle your seatbelts. It's gonna get a little bumpy. We're gonna get a little bumpy here. So I'm gonna do my best. So, I don't have a light down here. It might be kind of hard to see. So here's where we're at. We got the electrical box. It's all installed. It's wired. It looks cool. I think it looks awesome, actually. See if I can bring you in. So we have, this is a weird angle, I know. The box, this totally 3D printed, including the lettering and stuff. So what we have is a master switch. I don't have it plugged in. Actually, I have the fuse out of it right now because I'm getting ready to fire it up for the video, and I got to put the fuse in there. But we have a master power, which will turn on everything. It'll energize these two toggle switches as well as this. These toggle switches go to outlets on the back, so I can plug in things like work light. I'm gonna try to put some sort of a work light up there. I'll be able to turn those on and off. There's two different outlets. Once I figure out a little more of what they might go for, I might reprint this cover plate with more specialized lettering, so it'll actually say, work light and dust collector. I don't know what else is going to go on there. And then of course we have the start stop switch. So really easy to turn it on, shut it off. But yeah, the reason I did a master power switch is because I am planning on having some sort of a work light. I want to be able to turn that on, and switch on the lights, whatever's connected. That way I can see what I'm doing if I need to do any sort of setup before starting the machine. Otherwise, I could have just wired it to a start-stop switch. but I kind of wanted to have the option for turning things on and off independently of actually running the sander. So got that all installed. We got some, strain reliefs here. I've got let me see if I can show you this. I got the wires tied up here with some 3D printed cable clamps. And then also one thing that I'm actually very pleased with is this. In the original video, where's that handle? Let me grab that. I want to show you. I want to show you here. So this is the original handle that was on this press clamp, and when it was in place, when you rotated this around, I'm just trying to show you here. You see how that little nub there, that handle would stick down and it would hit your wrist. Now, if you're kneeled down, in kind of at a different angle, it wasn't a big deal. But if you're standing at the machine and you just kind of reach down, this was kind of annoying. This thing would hit you and you had to kind of keep your arm at a weird angle so that you could freely rotate that up. So I went in and designed this hand wheel here in Fusion, and it only has one little handle here, so nothing hits your arm. It actually feels smoother, probably because I don't have to hold my arm at a weird angle. But 3D printed this thing, it turned out awesome. It's probably one of the cooler things I think I've ever designed. It's all parametric, so you can change the offset of where the base is in the hand wheel. You can make the handle bigger. You could change the dimensions of this part here. And yeah, it turned out super cool. So really happy with that. Like I said, about ready to wrap the video up here. I just need to do the test run and shoot the end of the video and finish getting it edited. I got it about halfway edited already. And there's going to be some time lapses, some 3D printing time lapses right from the from my 3D printer, which is pretty awesome. So that's where we're at on the sander. Of course, we talked about putting the laminate on this top, which the laminate will be here today, supposed to be anyway. So I'm gonna sit back down so I'm not shaking you guys all up. But yeah, that's where we're at, and it's coming along, and we're getting mighty close. So let me get caught back up here. Oh, Mike, yes, Mike asks, is the belt sliding down? No, Mike. If anything, it's actually working its way up. So I need to adjust the tracking. There is adjustments on this end here, so I can adjust the tracking. I haven't messed with that yet because I'm still playing around. I've been putting this table on, taking it off, but it is not sliding down. Even when it runs, it stays right where it needs to be for the most part. But I have seen it go up just a little bit. But so far, no issues, which is good. But yeah, there is tracking adjustments on there, so I can adjust that. Once I'm done putting things on, taking things off, and all that sort of stuff, then I'll fine-tune the tracking, get it right where it needs to ride, and I think we're going to be in good shape. Paul says, I have one set of back and sides for an acoustic. When I decide to build another one, it's pre-CITES Brazilian rosewood. Ooh, nice. Do it, Paul. You got to build one. Sam says, the hat will still look awesome. What? I need cat in line. Tanmay says, excited. Yes, right on. Time Serpent says, 5 years into my guitar journey. Nice. I built my first one, I think, in 2016. Maybe it was 15. So coming up on 10 years ago. Wow. I thought about bringing that out for a video of some sort because that was my first one, right? I was learning a lot of stuff, and there's some defects in the finish, which I thought about addressing one way or another. I don't know if I'll ever do that or not. I might just leave it as is, as kind of this was my first guitar, and this is how it was when I built it. Robert says most of that old growth wood was much better quality than the stuff cut today. Absolutely, 100% agree with that. As long as the wood is solid, mostly bug free, would be fantastic. I think it would be awesome. Time Surfing says it's been in the house since new. Whoa. Moved once into the house. It's in now. Wow. That's cool. Mike says XXX days without any injuries. Cover plate. Jimmer says, gotta go. Lunch with our friend Patrick. Jimmer, right on. Tell Pat I said hi. Hope he's doing good. And we'll chat with you later. Right on. Yep, I've said it before, but Jim and I are friends. We've been friends since like 7th grade. So, yep. Paul says that sander almost looks like a professional job. See, you don't need an acre-sized shop to do quality work. I agree. I agree 100%, Paul. Yeah, you don't. And it doesn't have to be a project like this. And I would encourage everyone, all of you and anybody else that ever thinks about it. If all you have is a small workspace, you can still build cool stuff. I don't care what that cool thing is to you. Don't be afraid to tackle the project. It is easy to let yourself get sucked into, oh, I don't have the big YouTube workshop that a lot of people seem to have. I 100% don't. But don't let that tell you that you can't do something. You can, and I'm not just talking about me here in my shop, working on the sander or whatever. All of us, it is. If you watch a lot of making YouTube woodworker type videos, it seems like everybody's got a big giant space and yes, would that be awesome? Yeah, it would be fantastic. And I believe that there's even more things that I could do with a shop like that, but don't let that get into your head. If all you have is a small space, you can still do some pretty cool stuff. I'm super stoked with this sander. Has it been a challenge trying to work with something that is quite this large? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because trying to move things around and trying to move it around, it is 100% a challenge, but you just keep at it. So yeah, thank you, Paul. I'm really happy with this. And I think once we get the laminate on that MDF top, I think that's going to change this look so much that I think it's going to be even more awesome. So, but that's going to be coming next week. This week's video is getting the electrical box done. Oh, and I also disassembled the entire thing, painted the few parts that I hadn't yet painted, put it all back together, then wired the 3D printed, wired the box, installed the hand crank, and yeah, it's really coming together nice. It kind of makes me want to go back to my 2x72 belt grinder. Maybe revamp that. I don't know exactly what I would do, but I'd probably change the control box and do a few things because this one's turning out pretty cool. Robert says, Jimmer, have a good one. Enjoy. Yeah, have a good lunch. Sam says, is it just me or is Jeff starting to look like Chuck Norris with the beard? I can never be as cool as Chuck Norris. I used to love Chuck Norris movies, the show, all that. Yeah, Chuck Norris is awesome. Well, and so I guess Sam, if there's any resemblance, I appreciate that. Time Surfing says laid miles of Formica. Used to build laminate covered cabinets for churches and schools. Well, you want to come up and help me laminate this tabletop? Because that would be pretty cool. So yeah, that's what I'm using. It's Formica. I got a 4x8 sheet of Formica. Any tips on when I come to route it flush? Let me run my process by you. I'm planning on doing the edge first. Is that a good idea or a bad idea? Seems to me like I want to do the edge first, then route that flush, and then the overlap of the top will kind of cap that edge. Unless I'm missing something there. Is that a good idea or bad idea? Which one should I do first? And I haven't figured out yet how I'm going to cut this. Not sure on that one. Do you need a special blade for a circular saw or something? I don't know. Who is it? I think the delivery truck is here. Yeah, there's a delivery truck pulling in. Maybe that's my Formica. I'll bet it is. So time surfing, any tips you got for laying Formica? I'd be interested. Paul says, my neighbor gave me a huge piece of cocobolo about 2 years ago. I did make some back and side sets from that. Let me see what I have left. Might send you some for your next acoustic. Oh, cocobolo's cool looking. Sam says the way to get rid of any wood infestation, just play Justin Bieber. That'll run anything out. Before long, the infestation will be gone. I like it. Time Surfing says most cabinet shops I've worked in were barely big enough for the cabinets. See? You don't need a giant place. Mike says, Titan, I work in a small space in the garage and the driveway. Yeah, you got to use the space you have. Don't be afraid to get outside. In fact, I love working outside, except for right now when it's cold and snowy. But yeah. Paul says, I have 2 lofts in my shop, have built shelves connecting them. I use that for wood storage, roughly 100 square feet, 3 foot high to store wood, and it's out of my way. That's a challenge for me, the wood storage, because I already don't have a lot of space. And then, of course, I build stuff like this sander, which takes more space. But besides the point, storing lumber has been quite... That's the challenge. I don't have really a great spot for putting long pieces. I've got several boards in here that are 8 feet long. One of them is the offcut of MDF from this tabletop. I don't have a great spot to put it where it's going to stay dry and flat. And so that's something that I'm working on. So a loft over there might be kind of cool. Maybe I should tear the ceiling out. I wonder if I could get enough room. I might have to look at that. Robert says some of the guitar sets and body blanks that Oregon Wildwood sells. Oh, some nice wood for reasonable prices. I have looked at those, some of their stuff. I think you sent me the link or had mentioned them before. Some of their stuff is pricey, but they have some that is not. Yeah, you're going to see that everywhere, I think. Depending on the grade, the figure, you're going to see different pricing. Even LMI, rest in peace, used to have their, upper grades and lower grades. I forget what they called them, but yeah. Time Surfing says, yes, standard operation. Flush trim router on a small router. Wax the edge where the bit rides against the sides. Yes, do edges first. Right on. Thank you for confirming my process. I just got to figure out how to cut it. I don't know. I'm going to learn that. Robert says you should be able to cut the laminate on the bandsaw. Yeah, that's going to be hard. This thing is like a 4x8 sheet. I think it's here. I don't know. Bandsaw probably. I'd have to take the bandsaw outside and have someone help me hold it, which wouldn't be impossible. But Time Surfing says rip to width with a table saw. Do I need a special blade? So it doesn't shatter it all to pieces? It says leave about 3/4 to 1 inch overhang for trimming. Oh, wow, you leave that much. Okay, good to know. So I guess it wouldn't matter if it shredded it to pieces. Now, here's a question. Since I had to order a 4x8 sheet of this stuff, which I imagine is probably pretty floppy, I don't have 4 feet of depth here, especially with this giant sander in the way. Is there a way I could can I take that with just my circular saw? I've seen people cut it with a circular saw, but I don't know what blade they're using. Can I just use a regular blade and cut it outside so that I could at least break it down? I says, no, just keep the blade low. Crosscut blade. Okay. I got to check and see what I have for blades. I think I have a crosscut blade for my circular saw. I might try that. Yeah. But either way, we're going to get it figured out. Oh, it says cut from the back using a circular saw. Okay, so cut from the back. Okay, I got that. Thank you. Thank you. With a crosscut blade. The good part is, if I totally destroy it, a piece of it somehow, I'm going to have enough, I think, to make this work. Maybe I should just leave it giant. And then, yeah, we'll get it. Now, here's one more question. Sorry about all the questions, but I'm just thinking of stuff here. So right here on this end, how important is it that I cut this in this shape, roughly? Is there a reason why I couldn't just leave this? This was 24 inches wide with this cutout. This is only 10 inches wide here on this side. Is there a reason I couldn't just cut a 24-inch wide piece, glue the entire thing on, and then basically cut this entire thing away with the router? Is that a bad idea? So I'd be basically chopping this whole piece out with just the router, or should I try to cut it more to size? Because if I could just cut a big rectangle, glue it on, and then run the router to trim it all flush, I mean, that would be easier. I just don't know if it's the right way to do it. These are all the questions that run through my head when I'm trying to understand a new process. Time Servant says, as fine a tooth blade as you can get. Okay. Sam says, could do with a chainsaw milling machine for turning tree trunks into lumber planks. I have one, Sam. I've got several videos on the channel about milling some giant logs. Yeah, it's super fun. I need to get some more logs because it is really, there's something fun about that. It's a fair bit of work, but I enjoy it. Time Surfing says, leave square. Trimming will take care of the rest. That's what I was thinking. Just leave it square and just run that router around there, cut it right off. Bam. I don't think it's going to be bad. It's not giant. The hard part is just working here with limited space. Paul says, take the table off, glue on top, use router to trim flush. Yes, Paul, I should have mentioned that. I was what I was thinking. I'm not going to do it with it on the table. I will take the table off, probably cut a rectangle, right? That covers the whole thing. And I'll set it here on the bench, glue that laminate to the top, and then trim it off, and then I'll just screw the table back on. That's what I had in my head. Definitely not going to try to do it with it on the sander. So, yeah. Time Serpent says, good idea. Make sure you don't have voids that your bit can dip into. Yes, I've already gone through, sanded the edges. The edges are super clean. I think really it's ready for laminate. So I gotta get it cut down. I'll break it down into a piece, 24 inches wide. Well, a little bit wider, I guess, but cut it into a rectangle. Pull the table off, slather on the glue on both pieces, and try not to stick myself to it, and then we'll just glue it on. But you have to make sure you stay tuned to that one when the video comes out and see if I screw it up. Hopefully I don't have to order another piece, because there's going to be enough material. I could do this twice. I just got to be careful with my cuts. Yeah, Sam says, should we be concerned when a man gets excited about getting wood? Yeah. Yeah. Paul, yeah, there you go, Paul. Depends on the intent of the man. Yeah. Oh boy, this is going south quick. Let's bring it back in, guys. Bring it back in. Oh, anyway. Well, I'm starting to get cold. I got to turn the heat back on so that I can finish filming this video. And we're past the hour anyway, which is cool. So I think it's about time to wrap this up. Robert says if you plan on gluing the laminate on the inside edge, you will need to clearance the edge next to sander. Yes, 100% agree with you. I don't plan on putting any laminate on the inside. I think there's still a little bit of self-clearancing that the belt needs to do, and I don't want to tear up any laminate. So I'm going to do just the outside edge and the top. That's all I plan on doing. Not doing the underside. I just want those visible edges covered. So yeah, that's the plan. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for hanging out today. We're going to wrap this up. I'm going to get out of here and finish my coffee, do a little editing, shoot the rest of this video so I can get it out for you guys all to check on. And yeah, Robert says it's probably the best. Sam says, thank you for the fantastic stream. Be safe, everyone. Thank you, Sam. Time Servant says, or spray on. Yeah, except I didn't order enough spray on. I ordered the like a quart of this stuff. So I'm just going to slather it on there and hope for the best. Robert says, everyone have a good one. Stay safe and healthy. All of you do the same. And those of you in the U.S., happy Thanksgiving. Hope you all eat your fill and get to hang out with friends, family, whatever it is. And yeah, I hope you all enjoy. There's definitely plenty of things for us to be thankful for. So let's keep that in mind. So there's always stuff, right? And I'm thankful for all of you. That's for sure. For taking time out of your day to hang out day in, day out here and supporting what I'm doing here in my little workshop. So thank you all. Time Servant says use a roller. Duly noted. I think I have one. So anyway, we're going to get out of here. You guys, thank you. Thank you so much. Take care. Stay safe. Get on your shops. Build some things. Have some fun. Learn some new stuff. I know that's what I'm going to be doing. So I wish you all the best. Stay tuned for the video this coming weekend. And we'll see you next week here at Homebuilt Workshop. Take care, everyone. Thank you, and happy Thanksgiving. Later.